What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another segment of XD Daily Creative Challenge with me, your host, Brandon Groce. What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on, Sam? Adongo, Ajia, Lauren, Laura, what's happening, guys? Glad to have you guys back here again. And we're going to finish on time today. With that said, I want to let you guys know, for those of you who are new and back here again from yesterday, or really who haven't been here yesterday, or weren't here rather, this week our DCC is only going to be 1 week rather than 2 because the beloved Adobe Max is next week, and if you haven't registered, make sure you do so. With that said, we're very quickly going to hop into today's challenge, and for those of you who haven't gotten into yesterday's challenge or gotten into this week's challenge at all, let's talk about how you can and what today's challenge is. Let's move on in. All right. So, by the way, Sam, or if you guys are wondering what today's challenge is, or you want to go ahead and download the XD files, links are down in the description. Or Sam is always really good at this. He pops the links in for you guys. He probably already did. He probably beat me to the punch. But you guys can get the challenges at behance.net/challenge/XD, and you can join our amazing community and follow along with us in the steps that I've highlighted. But today, since I do want to get through all the cool things that we have for today, and if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Happy to answer them. But yesterday we did a course dashboard, which I saw some amazing submissions in our Discord, which we'll take a look at really the end of today's session. And today we have loading animation. We're going to level up your designs with loading animations that loop. So with that said, let me know who in the chat is ready. And also, since you guys are so excited for Max, tell us a little bit about what sessions you guys are gonna jump into during Max. Would love to know, and maybe I need to register for some of the things that you guys have registered for. Alrighty. With that said, and Sam loves y'all. He even put the registration for Max in the chat. Alright. So, by the way, if you guys are new, our Discord, if you guys have yet to submit either in the future or any of the things that you guys did yesterday, in this feedback section, in this challenges portion, you guys can submit your designs. I see Cringe just popped one in at this moment. Very nice, but this is where you will submit all of your week's challenges in here, and we'll take a look at, during the next day, we'll take a look at the previous challenge, essentially. So with that, let's hop into what we have today. If you guys have already downloaded the number 2 challenge, we have, again, it was much inspired by Blase Sepis. I hope that's how you pronounce your name, my friend. But we got some really cool things. Let me show you guys. And you can find him on Dribble, by the way. But before we hop in, I'm just going to show you guys kind of, since I prepared way in advance for you guys to kind of show you what we'll be doing today. And you guys can download this if you already have the starter files, and you can play around with this if you so desire. So this is kind of what we're gonna make today in the 20-ish minutes that we have left. So let's play. What I'm going to do, and what I have already given you guys, is I started you off with a stock photo from Unsplash, and it's by Caden. And I left you guys the Unsplash link here just in case you wanted to download it, a higher resolution photo. But essentially what I did, by the way, if you guys are wondering how I got the pink gradient, it's actually really easy. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna right click it. Laura says my Max schedule is crazy. Very excited. Well, you have to go all out when it becomes Max, you know. And Ruth, I'm glad you liked the picture. So what I like to do is I always like to bring my photos in Photoshop just by right-clicking, pulling it in. And yes, the photo is really amazing, but what I really like to do is bring it in Photoshop, and especially, let's see if I remember how I even did this. I think it was pretty simple. I think I did gradient map. Yep, there we go. And I just went into, I think it was either purples or blues. Yeah, here we go. My memory aids me well. And I just grabbed, I think I just grabbed one of these gradients. And I'm just gonna delete this layer that I made. And I'm gonna mess with the actual blending mode of that gradient layer that we had. And honestly, I wish I had the the brain power to tell you which one I actually used. I have no idea, but I played around with the gradients, the opacity, and this might not even be the gradient that I actually used. So we're gonna mess around. We're gonna try this one. Just click till I find one that I'm happy with. We'll rock with that one. And so it's literally just 2 layers. I used an adjustment gradient map layer on top of this, and I increased, or rather decreased, the opacity till I was fine with it. And I just hit save. Control S, and there we go. we have our photo with a nice little gradient map on top, and now we can really begin our designs. Now, for those of you who already downloaded the starter file, you guys will have everything that I have here. And since we do have short time, what I want to focus on today is a couple principles. One, masking is number 1, and animating. So with that, let's talk about and focus on an animating principle that we are literally using for everything in today's project. Because if you click into the starter file, you'll see every single letter in here is its own letter, or literally it's its own letter. It's not a typed out sequence. I literally have, if you see this kind of like ghost wording, I typed it out so I could put individual letters on top and be able to animate those. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna do exactly this. I'm gonna show you what exactly I'm doing, and then we're gonna apply it. So just very quickly, I am going to make a new artboard. I'm gonna press A. I'm gonna hop out of my, here we go. Give me a second here. I want to grab 1920, there we go. I'm gonna pull my photo in, scale that up, center it. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna type out what I have over here. So the marshmallow, I'm actually gonna drag to save time my little outline that I have over here. So this is my little typed out outline, the 2020 or 2021 Marshmallow Tour. That's my little, essentially my little trace guide. And what I'm actually gonna bring it over here or duplicate it so I can show you isolated kind of what we're doing. So I'm using this as a guide. I'm gonna turn down the opacity very low. And all I'm doing is I am typing out letter by letter parts of this word. And I also want to grab the actual size of this. I'm gonna make this bold italic. There we go. And why I'm doing this is because this animation that we have here, so if we look at these 3 final pieces here. First thing is the fade in of the photo, and then we have this nice little slow undulation of the letters. Rather than them just animating up, it's like 1 letter at a time. And so how I'm doing that, I'm just gonna do the first row here. I'm gonna duplicate this holding Alt. I'm gonna press A, just spelling out my word here. R, duplicating, holding Alt, S, and just lining it up. H. We have our little dash. Oh, are you guys wondering what the typeface is? Yes, Zoom, Z-U-U-M-E. Umacorn, thank you so much for the lookout. I'm like trying to, because this is a really cool concept, and I'm trying to make sure at least I get the concept in before we get too far deep in and not be able to show the cool stuff. Kind of like yesterday, where the peeps on YouTube got to see it, but we got canceled kind of on Behance. We're not trying to have that happen again. So with that said, if you're on YouTube, come over to Behance so we can actually have a conversation, and you can join the Behance chat as well. All right, so again, just the same thing, just getting all my letters in a row, just duplicating. And actually, before I do all that, I'm just gonna move this off to the side so you guys can, I want to just show you with 1 letter what we're doing. All right. So we're taking this, and I'm going to make a rectangle. And I'm gonna select both of these. I'm just gonna drag my mouse over both, right click, mask with shape. And so what we're doing here is we're saying, and I'm gonna bring this over here and make its own artboard. That's what I was trying to do before. We're gonna say, now since this is masked, we can actually hide it. And so we don't have to, essentially we're hiding it in plain sight. So what we can do now is if we're on artboard 1, I'm just gonna call this art 1, call this art 2. If we're animating this, I'm gonna go to prototype, I'm gonna do a timed animation. I'm just gonna drag this over. Trigger is time. Delay, we're gonna do 1 second, just so it gives us some time to relax. We're gonna do auto animate, snap, and our duration, we'll do 0.8 for right now. And we're gonna just do the same thing back. So when I play this, let me see if I can scale this up so you guys can kind of see what's happening. So the M is hiding and showing in the center of the actual screen. And so essentially we're doing that, except now we are doing it on multiple in multiple areas. So now that we have, let's say we want to have 2 letters, right? And I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm trying to squeeze this real quick. Essentially, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make each letter come up at a different time. We're trying to cascade the animation. So when we're over here, what we're going to do is, I'm just going to show it here so we can just very quickly copy and paste it to our final design. I'm just going to get all of my letters. Boom. And the reason, you know, some of you guys in the chat might be wondering, like, hold on 1 second. Joanne says it doesn't work for animation like this. Let me see. What are you guys talking about? Convert to path. Object menu, content to path. Well, I'm glad you guys are liking the mouse ASMR. But what are you guys curious about? It seems like, Joan, if I apologize if I don't have your name correct, but what are you guys trying to figure out in the chat? I would be happy to kind of break down why I'm doing it this way versus another way, but it seems like you guys are talking amongst yourselves in regards to a particular technique. Yes, Adongo is similar to offsetting keyframes, exactly. But with Adobe XD, since we don't really want to mess with, since we have luckily we have a simpler program, we don't have to mess with keyframes. We can simply just do it through dragging elements further away from the final destination. And you know what? We might not even, well, let's start simple. We have our 2. Once I get the first, nope, we're gonna do light italic. There we go. Once I get like the first set, you guys will be like, oh, that makes sense. Because the majority of the time that is spent on things like this is the animation portion. Everything else is pretty simple. The words, the arrangement of design is simple. The main 2 concepts you guys will get out of today is masks and how to actually get an illusion of timed animation using the techniques that you're learning today. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this and this will be our tour. I'm gonna see what size this is. This is 118. Oops. There we go. Just trying to line everything up. T, O, U and R. All right, so now we can actually get to the cool stuff. And I know maybe my stuff is a little off in alignment, but we'll figure that out and adjust that, you know, when we have time. I'm gonna just finally move some of this stuff just a little bit. Pull this down. There we go. All right, so now let's get to the cool stuff. So I'm gonna copy all this stuff over here. I'm just gonna hold Shift, select all of this. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. I'm gonna copy, and we don't need this over here anymore. We're gonna paste this over to our artboard over here. And what I do wanna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of an overlay, essentially like a block right over top everything. I'm gonna push it between my letters and my background image, just like that. Turn the opacity down just a little bit. And so now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm actually gonna do this smarter than the last time I did this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna group 2021, holding Shift, group it. And this is why it's awesome doing this with you guys, because I actually had to find smarter ways of doing what I did, which took me longer. Or doing it more than once helps you think a little bit better about how to solve the problem. So I'm gonna, each row of elements, I'm just gonna group. So Marsh, group, Mellow, group, and I'm gonna group Tour. Just like this. And I'm gonna make sure I name my groups 2021, Marsh, and then we have Mellow. Laura, much appreciated. See, every time we redo something, I feel this is why practice makes good habits, because the first time I did this, I was like, I thought I had at least one answer of how I'd like to do this, but now I have a different way of what I would like to do. And so that way is this. So now that I have all these text or these text elements grouped, now I'm going to mask the groups. So rectangle 1, I'm going to select my, okay, so we have mask. I'm going to name this masked 2021. So now I can use one mask to hide all of the numbers. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide these very quickly, all these other things, so you can see what we're doing here. And I think this is probably the only, because we're running on 18 minutes into our session here. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this very quickly. And remember, in XD, when you're doing, let's not make this the flow 1, new. Let's take that off. In animation in XD, you want to think before and after. Start here, end here. So what we want to start is everything is really going to be hidden, but everything is going to appear over here, right? So this is going to be our end state. But over here, what we're going to need to do is, all right, where is it starting from? And we want to just slowly cascade our numbers, just like this. So 2 will animate in first, 0 second, 2 will come in third, 1 will come in fourth, in a cascading way. We're going to do that with our bits over here as well. I'm going to make sure that I select the group, turn the opacity up, because now we're manipulating this. We're going to start with our M. Whoops. We didn't mask this, that's why. I'm going to, also, I need to make sure that my masks are named the same. So I'm going to go ahead and mask our marsh portion here. So I'm going to select our rectangle and our marsh, right click, mask with, or go ahead and mask it. Now I need to make sure that this over here. I'm going to name this Masked Marsh. And I do need to copy this, and I need to put it over here because we did not mask this over here. So I'm going to start with M. I'm going to pull it down. A, pull it down again in a diagonal fashion. S, H, and we have our dash here. And we're gonna do one more. All right, we have, guys, this is honestly, I'm gonna leave this to you. All right, this is the main thing that I wanted to give you guys today. Because we have about like 3-ish minutes here. And I want you guys to at least see what we have. So I'm gonna prototype this very quickly. Go over, time, delay 1 second, snap, cool, yes. And we're gonna go back just like that. We have like a double delay. So we have 2021 works just fine. We still have to do this to mellow, and we still have to do that to tour. But this is essentially our animation that we're going for. And if we take another step, we can do a lot more, like the darkening of the background, things of that nature. But let's see, with the time allotted, let's try to see if we can finish our text and copy and paste some things over, and we're good to go. But, or actually, we're gonna just do one more minute, and then we're gonna take a look at some of the cool things that you guys have in the Discord, because that's what I'm super excited about sharing with you guys today. M-E-L. L-W. Boom. And our last one. See, this was actually way quicker. Me doing it the second time around versus the first time. And then this is, will be, I'm gonna copy this over here. Whoops. Mask with shape. Gotta pull the mask correctly. And all right, guys. Well, I gotta pause here because we do need to get into looking at some of the Discord. But ladies and gentlemen, this is core. All I wanted you guys to see right here is the 2021 Marsh. That is the technique in and of itself. And if you guys download the actual animation file, you guys have everything. Because I know this is a little bit more complex, but what I wanted to teach you guys was what was done right here. And we achieved that. Everything else is masked in the same way, the play button, things of that nature. So you guys are good to go. But let's take a look at our Discord, guys. And by the way, if you guys want to export this, it's super easy. You just go ahead and press play. You have a little video button here. It can record, you can export your video. You're fine. But let me do another. We got 2 minutes, guys. I just wanted to say there was two big shout outs that I wanted to give for our Discord peeps. And it was Drew. Very awesome. I love the colors. I love the different overlaying things, the different illustrations you brought in. This bird was a little interesting. But I absolutely loved it, my man. And I think that's all I can really give today, guys. We got 1 minute left and we honestly have to go. But yes, remember, masks, auto animation, and you're good to go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Come same place, same time tomorrow for another DCC, and I'll see you then, guys. Take it easy and see you tomorrow. Peace.